get lost in the bureaucracy these days. Instead of some straight hallway, they've constructed quite a maze. People wonder why the problem seems incredibly complex. There's a simple explanation that nobody suspects. Every single voice in Congress is outnumbered 3-1 by lobbyists from pharma shouting how the deal is done. If you're trying to fix the system, hey, the system's working fine. The ones who built the system built it broken by design. You say it's inefficient, but that's just one point of view. It's really good at sucking every dollar out of you to heal the healthcare system. Well, they'll tell you that's a joke. The system's working perfectly. It's you that's sick and broke. Every single voice in Congress is outnumbered 3-1 by lobbyists from pharma shouting how the deal is done. If you're trying to fix the system, hey, the system's working fine. The ones who built the system built it broken by design. If you're trying to fix the system, hey, the system's working fine. The ones who built the system built it broken by design.
So great to see everybody here. Just so excited that we're together for today's Liz is Leaving celebration, a T1I toast. I'm Lib Gatti. I'm our U.S. Advocacy Manager. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a few housekeeping items to help everyone have a great experience today, and I'm just going to go over those as we get started. So we've got a great agenda that Allison just dropped in the chat. Feel free to follow along and see what we're up to, where we're headed in the program. The music that was just playing is Broken by Design by David Wilcox. Thank you so much to Katie Giebenheim for sharing that music with us. And the music playing prior to that, I put this in the chat, but that was made by our very own Bertrand Bergalot called Bardot's Dance, Michael Garson's Studio 54 Club remix. So thank you to the folks for sharing this awesome music with us. So I have some notes about using Zoom. We're on the Zoom platform today. If you want to update your name, you can update or change your name by clicking on participants at the bottom of your screen. Then hover your mouse over your name in the participant list. Click the 3 dots that are there and then click rename. So feel free to add your name there and any pronouns if you feel like doing that today. We'll be using the chat a bunch throughout this program. So to access the chat, again, in your Zoom bar, there will be the word chat with a little speech bubble at the bottom of your screen. From there, we suggest having your messages sent to everyone so that we can all engage with each other. You can DM someone, but we encourage you to just chat everyone if you want to share something. And we'll also have live captioning in English during the event. So to access this feature, please click the CC symbol at the bottom of the Zoom screen, and you'll click Show Captions. And then throughout the event at different times, we'll be sharing the screen so we can all look at something together. In the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen, you'll see an area called View. We recommend having this marked as speaker view for the duration of most of the toast, just so you can get the fullest experience. And then when we're sharing a screen, we suggest having your view as standard. So you can go up into that corner and change from speaker view to standard. And we won't be able to hear everyone's everyone's voice in the full group today, but please do share it in the breakout groups and feel free to share anything in the chat. And come on camera if you can and feel comfortable. It's so great to see one another's faces. So we're going to ask that people stay muted when others are speaking. And also just to note that we're recording the event and we're saving the chat so that those who couldn't make it today but want to watch clips or on social media so we can share it out with members of our community who couldn't make it. So happy that we're all here together. Thanks for being here. And I am going to pass it over to Mirella.
Hello, good day, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Mirella. I am a consultant with the Colibri Collaborative, and our group strengthens connections so that communities can flourish. We worked with T1I International towards the end of 2020 to help them identify their values and in a 24-month strategic plan. I was just getting a little bit teary-eyed looking at all the pictures, just because it's clear that T1I's strength is so much in relationships. Like, pictures went back to 2017, and just seeing all those pictures of some of you all who are in this space right now, pictured with Liz, just tells me how profound the work T1I does, that it's not only about winning, it's also about creating those connections. And so we felt really aligned working with you all. Many of the consultants in the Colibri Collaborative come from community organizing. So it was such a gift to work with T1I, where it's an organization that is truly committed to leadership development for the board, for the executive director, for staff, advocates, and volunteers. And if there's anything we've learned, or I've learned over the past couple of years, is that the only way we get through this is by really developing ourselves and each other, and to building and fortifying those connections that we have. We were able to see T1I's commitment to community when the community, some of you all I met, shaped the values and strategic direction of T1I in a way that I've never seen for an organization. And since then, the community gave feedback on the values, told us what they thought about the goals, and gave their perspective in how the strategic plan could be incorporated into the work. When I think about T1I, what I love about T1I, I think of John Donahue's poem, For the Leader. And I think that T1I exemplifies the line of, may you never put yourself at the center of things. May you act not from arrogance, but out of service. May you work on yourselves, building up and refining the ways of your mind. And we were able to see from T1I that when we would offer tools, they would tell us days later, oh yeah, we had a staff meeting and we were talking about that tool you gave us. So they really kind of were open and learning. Before we begin, so I'm getting us started, but before we begin, I'd like to take a moment and do an acknowledgement of the ancestors, mentors, leaders, the land, the community, the world around us that shaped us. All of this has led to where we are. It's led us to advocate and work for liberation for our community and those impacted by diabetes. So before we officially launch and start talking a little bit more about T1I, I want us to connect with self and the foundation of what brings us here. So I invite you to close your eyes or look down, gaze down. And I just want you to take a pause and connect with your breath. And I want you to connect with the gratitude and thinking about those who guide us. May those who are no longer with us continue to inspire us. Appreciating those who are still with us, and appreciating and grateful for those who may still come, who will teach us, inspire us, and guide us. So when you're ready, you can come back into the space and open your eyes And if you can, see the faces of those who are here with us right now and struggle, and appreciate who's here. And may we remember how sacred all of us are and be guided by this sacred connection. Before I hand it off to Melissa, I would like to share one more blessing. This one is for Liz specifically in her next journey. And I pull in another part of John Donahue's poem, which is, may you have a mind that loves frontiers so that you can evoke bright fields that lay beyond the view of regular eyes. May you have good friends to mirror your whole being, light and shadow. So I send Liz and all of you plenty of blessing as this struggle continues, and I pass it to Melissa, and I appreciate being here as part of this important celebration.
Thank you so much for that, Mirella. Well, welcome everyone to the T1 International Toast. My name is Melissa Passarelli, and I'm proud to be the board chair of T1 International. Today, we are coming together as a community impacted by type 1 diabetes in various ways to celebrate the work that we have accomplished as a collective, as well as to commemorate the founder of T1 International, Liz Pfiester, whose work in building this organization has provided crucial infrastructure and support to a network of amazing advocates across the globe. Our hope is that during this celebration, we can raise funds to continue this legacy as the organization enters a new chapter. I'm so grateful for T1 International and the global network of advocates that has both preceded and been bolstered and expanded by it, myself included. I was lucky growing up in that I had steady health insurance and access to technology like insulin pumps. In fact, other than generally keeping myself alive, my top diabetes-related concern was securing a job with health insurance. Luckily, Obamacare passed midway through college, meaning I could cling to my parents' insurance for a little longer and not have to worry about being denied coverage for my pre-existing condition. It gave me enough time to find a job that I loved as a director at a small health-related nonprofit where I could get a monthly stipend to purchase my own health insurance through the state exchange. But as the Obamacare plan was undermined, premiums went up every year. And by 2019, I was on a high deductible plan, spending nearly a third of my net pay on diabetes-related expenses. That's when I realized I didn't have the cash flow to get a month's worth of insulin. At 3 vials, even with insurance, that would have cost me $1,000 a month, without accounting for the supplies I needed to get it into my body and track my blood sugar. So I started only filling 1 vial at a time. I wondered how long I can make that stretch, if I skipped a meal here or let my blood sugar run high there. Then the next month, then the next. I was lucky to be able to connect to the diabetes online community, and through that, learned that New York had an Insulin for All chapter that was advocating for access to life-sustaining medications and supplies, the right to live. I quickly found family in this committed group of individuals, and I'm proud of the accomplishments we made in such a brief period of time. T1 International facilitated our efforts, providing us the tools, skills, and support needed to maximize our impact. Through them, I learned so much about laws and efforts across the country and how we might apply them in our state. I was lucky, too, to meet Liz and her team at T1 International that provided crucial infrastructure for all the Insulin for All chapters, as well as a network of advocates and initiatives across the globe. I immediately feel a kinship to and an admiration for anyone living with this disease. So the fact that Elizabeth had used her own experience to found such a needed international organization by people with diabetes for people with diabetes increased my admiration tenfold. And T1 International is unique. It was the only diabetes organization that I interacted with that was even willing to speak about the realities of pharmaceutical greed, let alone try to address it. It's also unique in providing such a strong culture that truly lives into its values of being patient-led, independent, transparent, inclusive, bold, and hopeful. It is a testament to a leader who is here for the community and centers its needs above all else. Now, I know we'll be getting into some more toast later, but I would like to be the first to take a moment to raise a glass to Liz for over a decade of leadership that has built a strong foundation for what's to come. So if you have a beverage beside you, take a sip like I will. Thank you, Liz. But I'm also super excited to be able to introduce what's to come with the official passing the torch to Shaina Kasper as the new Executive Director of T1 International. Many of you know Shaina as a dedicated advocate who has lent her skills in advocacy and community building to T1 International over the past few years. When seeking a new executive director, we knew that we had big shoes to fill. Shaina's lived experience, demonstrated skill set, and passion for this cause made her the right choice for the job. I'm proud to be able to formally introduce her as Executive Director of T1 International. And finally, I want to invite you to join T1 International. We are currently expanding our board of trustees and are looking for people with extensive global and lived experience to join our board. Lindsay will drop a link in the chat if you want to learn more. And now I'll hand it over to Lib.
Thank you, Melissa. Hi again, everyone. And thank you for all of the opening blessings. And yeah, just so moved to be here. If you weren't here earlier, I'm Lib Gatti. I'm our US Advocacy Manager, and I'm so glad and grateful to be here today. I remember in 2018, when I was first diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, I felt totally overwhelmed and isolated. A year later in 2019, a friend sent me the video footage of T1 International at an action in Indianapolis where advocates had taken over the street and were calling out the names of their loved ones who had rationed insulin. I remember sitting there just like tears streaming down my face as I watched them like fighting for their right and for my right to affordable insulin access. I remember being so moved, and I just felt so loved by these people in this street who had never even met me, but were fighting for me. And I thought, I have to get out onto that street and I have to be in this group. And so today I'm so moved and delighted to be on that metaphorical street with all of you, to be gathered today to celebrate and dream and scheme for the future where we have achieved insulin for all. So just to get us started, I want to visualize together right now, like all of us here gathered at a kitchen table or in an internet cafe, outside or at a friend's house. It's early morning or mid-afternoon or later in the day. It's hot or it's chilly. Kids are making noise in the background. You've got a pot on the stove. There's so many big and little differences in how we arrive today and the context we're joining this call from. And we're all here reaching for each other to connect and encourage and support our right to thrive. So to help us visualize this, we're going to do this thing where we visualize together. We're going to drop in the chat where you're calling in from. And we're going to watch all these little dots that represent us, each one a member of this beloved community. So we're going to remember that we're everywhere. We're like fighting and dreaming and holding one another in deep love and respect from all over the world. So a quick note on how to see the screen. If you can't see the screen that we're sharing, go to view options in the upper right-hand corner and untick the side-by-side on Zoom or select the standard mode. So I want us to just take a minute to drop in the chat, send your chat to everyone where you're calling in from. Yes, love to see these dots. We've got people in Marrakesh, Pakistan, Topsfield, Massachusetts, Berlin, Delhi, Seattle, Boston, Fayetteville, South Africa, Derbyshire, Columbia, South Carolina, Long Island. There's so many. I'm like, I can't even keep up. It's amazing. New York, Rwanda, Cairo, Montpelier. I love to see these dots just from all over the world. And this is who we are and where we are, where we're calling in from. Beautiful. So feel free to keep dropping in the chat where you're calling in from. And I want us all to, if you've already sent into the chat where we're calling in from, feel free to just notice the map, see where your colleagues are, where your comrades are, where people are calling in from. Beautiful. Amazing. Okay, so we're going to do another kind of like whole group activity where we're going to use one of these magic maps, screen sharing things. We're here to like mark a huge milestone. This is an incredible transition in leadership between our amazing outgoing executive director, Liz, and our truly incredible incoming executive director, Shaina. And we know that this visible leadership is just the tip of the iceberg. As we've seen, there's people coming from all over the world who are working together as T1 International. Each one of us is absolutely essential in achieving our mission of affordable, accessible insulin for all people. So I want you to take a moment to think about something that you yourself bring to this work. And take a minute to think about it. What are you bringing to this work? And when you have something, we're going to share in the chat what that one word is, describing this thing, so that we can celebrate all of the power and the skill and the contribution that each one of us is bringing. And we'll just have a moment of gratitude for like all the gifts that are in this incredible network. Yeah, Shaina's bringing energy, love, support, resilience. Yeah, a lot of resilience, solidarity, cheerleading, tweets. We got to have tweets. Pride, totally. Impact, awareness, support. Yeah, memes. Quinn's bringing amazing memes. We've got a couple people bringing awesome memes. Love. We need love. We need that. Amazing. Feel free to keep dropping those in the chat. And I just want us to notice like each and every one of us is so essential to this movement. And it's so important that we're here. So yeah, just really, really grateful. I want to take a moment just to feel gratitude for all of what we're bringing to this incredible community. So thank you for being here and thank you for bringing these gifts. And now I'm just so pleased to pass the mic over to Danny.
Hi, everyone. I am so honored and so happy to be here today to celebrate Liz. And I think Melissa did such an amazing job before me. And, and I just wanted to say that I wanted to talk about how Liz has impacted my life, which is, I think I'm out of words and out of days in my life. But it all started, you know, I am from Costa Rica. In Latin America, it's tough to get, you know, aid in any way. And I was lucky and blessed enough to be in London at an event. And all of a sudden, I'm very nervous. I go in, there is Liz. I literally remember the clothes she was wearing. I remember I was so nervous because for me, that is like meeting Beyonce. You know, there's no one above Beyonce in my world where I needed to advocate, and I had no idea that was my Beyonce. And I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And then I thought to my head, oh my goodness, she's so cool. I might want to just take a picture of her from afar because, you know, she's too cool. And how am I ever going to go meet her? After that event was over, we went to a little place to eat. And all of a sudden, Beyonce comes over and says, hi. And I was just going to faint. You know, I just could not believe not only that she came over to say hi, but she was all love and all kindness. And she wanted to make sure I knew how to better fight for my rights. And that is what makes Liz a Beyonce. She's not only brilliant, she's not only smart, she's not only kind, but she's the kind of human that makes sure you're fine. And that's not always what you can find. And it's truly an honor to be here today to celebrate this woman and just to actually let her know how much she has impacted me, because at some point I was so alone, I thought I could never do anything. And then in she comes with a toolkit to let me know the way, a beautiful toolkit that I have today in my office, just to look every day and be inspired by it. And today, it's not only an impact in myself, but an impact in the world and the incredible work she's been creating throughout all these years. Like the 2014, do you have the slides? I'm sorry, I got excited. There we go. So just because we need to see this and just acknowledge all of her work, I just want to start to tell the story of T1 International. And we can start in 2014 when the Insulin for All campaign was launched. I remember that. I remember writing posters for that. And I just could not believe that this was happening, because from where I come, no one really knows how to do this and no one ever extends your hand. And then this came out and it made us be represented, and it gave us a voice for the first time, at least in my part of the world. In 2016, next slide, please. The T1 International carried out the first out-of-pocket cost survey, which made this so important to what Melissa was saying, and just acknowledging the cost of insulin and how much it is an impact in people living with diabetes worldwide. And it brought to light what needed to be done and what we were fighting for. Next slide, please. 2018 and 2017, as the advocates in Lebanon and the MENA region received advocacy training. As much as I did when I got to meet Liz, this was not only one thing that happened to me. This organization made sure that it happened to all of us. It allowed us to really understand that we were not alone and how to actually have a voice and be taken into account. And that, for me, it's something that is just absolutely priceless. Next slide, please. In 2019, T1 advocates held a direct action and vigil for those lost for insulin prices. And as Lib was saying before, that is something that it's so powerful and so important, just giving voice to those who have lost someone, and that it really brings value to all of us fighting to have access on a daily basis, because it's a fight that we do every single day. And the power in this, it's simply, there are no words for it. I'm going to cry now. And then 2020, next slide, please. Sorry, 2021, patient advocacy led the WHO to actually acknowledge long-lasting insulin to essential medicines list. And this is such a big deal, because oftentimes no one thinks about this, and the work that was done here made a difference, so that everyone knew that we needed this kind of insulin to be safe. And this is something that it's absolutely remarkable. And last but not least, in 2023, Novo Nordisk, Sanofi, and Eli Lilly had to lower their prices and publish it in the US market, which is something that I have to say, as someone that is not from the US, I celebrate it so much, because the struggle is so real, as Melissa was saying. And when that came out, it was simply something that sometimes I wondered I was going to be able to watch happen. And it did, thanks to the world, not only of Liz, but all of T1 International. And that's just something impressive. And as they were saying before, the biggest thing today for me is not only to celebrate our Beyonce. I hope you all call her now like that, and we use this analogy because I think it's very on point. But to be honest, it's that she's an absolute leader. She is the one that created something to continue. As someone who created a project that will continue to protect all of us and all the ones after us, that it's an initiative that today we have the honor to know will continue, and that's a true leader. And this is the reason why all that we are here should not only or just stay and support, but also invite others. Because if I hadn't had the chance to be invited, I don't know what it would have been for me and my advocacy journey. And that is what a true leader does. So thank you, Liz, for being a leader and for being someone who teaches how to continue this amazing work, so that people get access to insulin And not only insulin, you know what I got out of this? I got a family of advocacy. The ones that on our last call are the ones who go in the river with you. And some others are the brave enough to hold your hand. And that is something every advocate needs. So thank you, Liz, for this amazing legacy of love, friendship, advocacy, and giving us all of us a voice. Because I have to say that the first time ever as a Latin woman that someone ever said I should speak in Spanish at a session was here. No one had ever even acknowledged my language. So representation matters. And this is an organization that does that it gives us and fights for rights for all, no matter where we're born. So thank you, Liz. And let's keep on working for these amazing organizations for years to come. And now it's my absolute pleasure to present my beloved, wonderful, amazing friend who I know has been inspired by Liz and has done work that is so incredible that it's just simply, I'm in awe of her. Vivian, the floor is yours. It's wonderful to see you.
Danny, you're amazing. That was a great toast. I'm not sure I can follow, but hello, everyone. My name is Vivian Nabeta, and I'm the founder and executive director of the Sonia Nabeta Foundation, SNF. Our vision is an Africa where children with type 1 diabetes have an equal chance at a long, healthy, gainful, and productive life. And this is not a vision I take lightly by any stretch. It drives every decision I make as an organization, as an individual, and as SNF, the organization, including the people and organizations we align ourselves with. So when I say that Liz has been one of the few people on T1 International, one of the few organizations whose work I gravitate towards, you can be certain it is because she, Liz, has proven time and time again that she is deeply committed to the shared mission of improving the lives of people living with type 1 diabetes, who in the SNF world we call warriors. Listen, I met Liz in 2017, where we invited her to our second camp in North Uganda. We were babies in business back then, and since then, Liz and I have been bound by this spirit of togetherness and really the spirit of partnership. So it's no surprise that our partnership as founders in this space and and friendship as individuals has flourished under the Swahili concept of pamoja, which means together, and which is what we end up naming our first official project together. Speaking of the Pamoja project, this joint program was designed by SNF and T1 International, and central to the ethos, was making sure that advocates were not just participants, but that they were recognized as whole humans with social and economic obligations outside the work that they do in the type 1 diabetes space. We understood that advocacy, especially in our communities, often happens on a volunteer basis. So it has to be balanced with the realities of life. Liz, as the leader of T1 International, has always been, I guess intentional is the word, about creating programs that respect the needs and humanity of warriors and the advocates driving the work. This approach is something that I admire deeply. And I think, and I hope, actually, I trust it has been well stitched into the foundation of T1 International so it can outlive Liz and her decade-long, work at T1 International. And listen, global organizations, not often engage meaningfully with the unique challenges faced by people living with type 1 diabetes, and especially in regions like ours, Africa, but under the stewardship of Liz, T1 International is doing it. And I think that through their work and handing over to Shaina, this work will continue. Liz has ensured that Liz and T1 International have ensured that advocates are at the forefront of global conversation in meaningful ways, rather than as tokens. So Liz, listen, your fearless leadership in the type 1 diabetes community has created lasting impact. We know that T1 International's future is bright, thanks to the strong foundation that you have laid. And with that, it is sad day, to be to be saying goodbye and to toasting to you, really, I want to, you know, mention that emotion behind it. But it really, truly is an honor to introduce Liz to all of you, a true warrior for the type 1 diabetes community and my friend. Over to you, Liz, and all the very best in this next chapter. I don't have a glass to toast to you. I'm in a car. However, you know I love you. Over to you, Liz.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vivian, and thank you everyone who has shared so far, and everyone who is just watching or maybe watching this at a later time since we're recording. Just thank you so much for being a part of this amazing journey. I'm doing a lot of gulping and swallowing and holding back some strong emotions that I'm feeling. But really, really grateful for everyone who's in the room. I've seen many names and loved ones and people that are part of our community. So I want to come back to our little interactive tool and hear again from folks in the room. If you're just joining, you can hop right in. If you've been here with us, you see how it works. We just use the chat in order to respond. So if we could just, answer in the chat what you appreciate about T1 International, we'll start to kind of see those come through as I gather myself and read some of these out so that we can take a moment to reflect together what we specifically appreciate about T1 International, the organization as a whole, and this community that we have together. So I see we're keeping it real, giving strength, inclusion, meeting people from all over the world. The organization cares, gives a voice to the voiceless. No pharma money, community of great people, helps me feel seen, meets people where they are. Best humans, fights big pharma. I'm not able to catch them all. There's so many amazing things coming through. It's truly overwhelming. Centering patients and advocates. Advocacy work, brings people in, wants to learn and grow, a diverse community. So there's that and so much more. It really is wonderful to see this community that we've built together. There's a lot of love and power in this room. And it's just a slice of the people that are here today. The people that are here today is just this one slice of our whole community. And our community is so large and dynamic and strong, and I'm really, really grateful to be a part of it with you all. So we'll pause on the entering our responses for now, and I'll just say a couple words. So looking back, in some ways I couldn't have imagined when I sat down at my computer in 2013 and decided to create T1 International that we'd be where we are today. It took so many incredible people to get us here because of all of our collective belief that people with diabetes deserve better and that this world can be a better and more just place. I know T1 International has achieved so much together. We've been widely credited for bold actions. We've existed for over a decade, leading tireless efforts, some of which Danny shared about, all on a shoestring budget. As we all know too well, the lack of funding is a harsh reality for an organization like ours that refuses the compromising donations from Big Pharma that are so heavily relied on by other advocacy groups and organizations. We've successfully pushed the major insulin producers to dramatically lower the list prices of some of their insulins, and we've led states to begin the process of public pharma. I'm especially personally proud to have created with James Elliott, who's in the room, our biannual out-of-pocket cost survey for people living with diabetes that looked at the costs that people with diabetes pay for their insulin and supplies. Danny mentioned that with a little picture. And that also tracks rationing globally. No one else was collecting data like this before, and no one was deeply involving patients in the data collection process. Perhaps most importantly, we've trained thousands of advocates worldwide who are now using their skills in their own countries as part of this global movement, many who are on this call today. We've built a place where people feel safe and supported as they navigate this 24/7 relentless condition, and where they can gain the tools to stand up for their rights. That's a pretty big deal if I do say so myself. And this incredible community of tens of thousands of people living with diabetes and their loved ones all across the world work together to achieve our wins. And I know they will ultimately succeed in making insulin and diabetes care affordable and accessible to all. So I'm not leaving my role as executive director because my outrage at health and diabetes inequities no longer burns bright. And it's not because I don't think we can win this huge, huge David and Goliath, as some might call it, fight, because we can. And it's not because I don't have anything more to give. I'm leaving because I know that healthy organizations build strong leaders and cultivate a community that is so much bigger and more effective than any one person could ever be. As long as our core values remain intact, I know that T1 International's next generation will continue to be the bold, unwavering, patient powerhouse that it has always been. I'm so lucky to have been in this community with all of you since the beginning. I can't thank my own support systems inside this community and outside of it who have helped me keep going in the hardest of times. I can't thank you enough. I wish I had time to name every one of you, but you know who you are. So I'm taking a step back as the fight for insulin for all moves forward, and I will never leave this fight. I'll continue to be T1 International's biggest cheerleader and supporter, and I'll be right there with each and every one of you that makes up this collective of amazing people. I know the fight is in really good hands. So many of you have become my friends over the last decade, and I continue to be amazed that we can find joy and lean into resilience together despite facing some of the hardest health battles imaginable. So thank you for helping me to hold on to that joy and resilience, and to each of you for being who you are. On that note, I'm gonna give us a chance to get to know each other a little bit more and pass it over to you, Ola.
Thank you, Liz. It's nice to hear those great words. Hi, everyone. My name is Olamide, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees for T1 International. I'm a physician and co-founded and directed the Nigeria Diabetes Online Community up until 2019. My work is focused on patient-centered advocacy as a means of providing quality clinical care with cultural inclinations. So I first crossed paths with Liz back, I think, in 2013, when an unexpected email popped up into my inbox. She was reaching out about a project I'd worked on, driven by a newfound passion that would soon change countless lives. That's T1 International. Over the past 12, 13 years, I've had the privilege of witnessing something extraordinary. What began as a spark of inspiration in Liz's heart has blossomed into a global movement, touching lives in ways we couldn't have imagined. Liz, you've been nothing short of incredible, and it's been an honor to watch your vision transform the world. Here's to you and the remarkable legacy you leave behind. Cheers. Right, so we're going to go into small groups now in just a minute. In the small groups, we want to give everyone a chance to get to know ourselves. So we are going to do an activity where we are painting a scene together. So each person, so this is the prompt. Each person will have a sentence or a catchphrase building on the previous one, sharing a vision of a world where justice and equitable healthcare for all is a reality. So please note that before you share your sentence, tell us your name and your connections to T1 International. And when you're done with a very brief intro sentence, just popcorn to someone else to continue. So we're going to open the small groups now. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. How was the activity? Hope we were able to, get to meet each other. I met wonderful people in my group from the US, Ghana, India, Egypt, Nigeria. I'm originally from Nigeria, New York City. It was amazing. So does someone want to share their vision of the world to us? I can go real quick and then I'll just ask one more person to share. And then, so in my group, we wanted a future where politicians globally will acknowledge and genuinely make insulin free for all, where there'll be free access to supplies. And insulin, wherever you are, there'll be free access to insulin supply. And insulin will be a basic human right. And there will be a shift of the power dynamics to the people with rights to health. So let me call on Liz. Liz, do you want to share real quick what's...
Yeah, we had a lovely room. Thank you so much for facilitating this. There were a couple of different sentiments from folks where one of the themes that came through was really that, big pharma should not be charging the prices that they're charging. And there are some things, actually heard from my mother-in-law that, you shouldn't put a price on. And we all, I think, want this vision where people don't have to worry about the cost and where corporations aren't controlling so much of our lives.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So let us always remember that access to affordable insulin is a fundamental human right, and we can't settle for anything short of 100% accessibility and affordability. So now I'm going to introduce a fellow board member trustee, Fiona Connor, to take over from here. Thank you so much for your time.
Hi everyone, I'm Fiona Connor. I joined the T1 International board in 2016, having been inspired by the excellent care patients such as my daughter receive here in the UK, where insulin and all of the essential supplies that we need to manage type 1 are free. I knew back then that I was privileged to be living in an almost unique country, and I wanted to use the skills that I had to join the fight for global health equity. Back in 2016, T1 International had no staff and no money, just Liz and a board of 3 or 4 of us who helped as hands-on volunteers where we could. Really, it was just Liz and her immense, unstoppable will to make a difference, coupled with her immense, unstoppable will to make things happen. I marveled many times at how many things she could hold in her head, seemingly without effort, and that a tiny charity without a single grant already had an entirely credible operations base with grown-up policies and procedures and a clear sense of its strategic direction. I possibly felt some pity towards the unsuspecting pharma CEOs and policymakers because I'd glimpsed the storm that was coming their way. As Danny mentioned in her tribute earlier, one of the earliest things that we turned our attention to was the inclusion of long-acting insulin onto the World Health Organization's essential medicines list. The injustice of patients in less affluent countries having to make do with older, less effective human insulin, with its often unpredictable and scary action profile, enraged us. Back as early as around 2017, we were writing for journals like The Lancet in order to try to influence policy. And with the friends I'd made from the impressive global advocate community as part of the Promoja programme, which Vivian talked about earlier, which brought together advocates from several African nations and which we ran in partnership with the amazing Sonia Nabeta Foundation, the subject wasn't a dry, abstract policy decision to me. It was impacting people I'd met and worked alongside. Supported by our wonderful programmes team, many T1 International advocates from multiple countries submitted comments on the World Health Organization's proposal to include analog insulin onto the essential medicines list in July 2021. And so when in October 2022 it was finally added, it felt like a huge win for us and something I'd seen the seeds sown for many years before. However, I know that this win wasn't just ours. We'd worked collaboratively and in partnership with many other organisations for this, and it was a collective victory. And now I'm going to introduce you to Helen from MSF, or Doctors Without Borders. Thank you. It's been amazing, Liz.
Thanks a lot, Fiona. So my name's Helen Bygrave. I'm a physician based here in London. Huge thanks to Elizabeth and Shaina for the invitation today. We feel really, really grateful to be able to share this event with you all today. I work for a bit of MSF called the Access Campaign. It's 25 years old, and it's really what it says. We campaign for medicines and diagnostics to be available for low and middle income countries at prices that are affordable. I've worked for MSF for almost 20 years now. Most of that time has been working on HIV, and know the value of working with people living with HIV, with the disease, and seeing how they have taken on pharma to get to where we are in that campaign. MSF really, I'm going to say, was really quite late in terms of turning attention to non-communicable diseases, including diabetes. And it was really only in the last 7-8 years, driven by the crisis in Syria and our need to respond to the health needs of refugees and our projects in Jordan and Lebanon, that I think our attention really turned to how we were managing diabetes in our programs. And it was then that the Access campaign actually also turned attention and realized this kind of huge double standard of care and the lack of access entirely in many of the settings and for many of the populations we were serving. And the crazy situation of tools that have been available for decades, PET insulin pens available now for 40 years, analog insulins available for several decades, but not available to the communities we were working with, predominantly because of the prices that were being charged. So we were introduced to T1 International. James Elliott, who I think is on the call, introduced us to the organization. He was working in one of our programs, and I think potentially was quite shocked at how we as a kind of large humanitarian organization was managing diabetes at the time. And I remember being introduced to Liz. I think we went for a coffee and just really appreciated the value of hearing her own perspectives as an insulin user, and also bringing those perspectives of the T1 community members to really kind of demonstrate the reality of the challenges of living with this condition. So over the last few years, MSF Access Campaign, we've collaborated with T1 International, including a number of you have mentioned, but the addition of analog insulin and also the more recent addition of insulin pens to the WHO essential medicines list, which we feel really will hopefully help to improve the quality of care. And in addition, we collaborated on a fantastic survey through T1's network, kind of demonstrating why insulin users kind of prefer using insulin pens, which we really want to continue to use for advocacy to push the prices of these devices down. But most importantly, I think we've really appreciated that collaboration because of that clear stance that T1 International has taken towards insulin manufacturers. I think MSF Access Campaign is very clear about the role that these companies should be playing, and that is to continue to manufacture insulin in the devices that users prefer, at prices that reflect the cost of production. And I think T1 has really been able to take bold steps and do bold work around lowering insulin prices in a way that we have felt is really quite unique amongst other kind of peer organizations. So although some of you may have seen, but MSF's access work is going to be kind of being reshaped over the coming months, and there will be a few new faces in the team. The good news is that our internal advocacy means that diabetes will remain a priority topic for MSF. And we will be doing some exciting events around World Diabetes Day in South Africa. Of course, we're really sad to see Elizabeth go. It's been fantastic working with you, Liz, over the last couple of years. I think we've learned a lot from you in our collaboration. So I thank you for that and kind of wish you well in whatever your new plans are. But we're also kind of really looking forward to working with Shaina and the other colleagues in T1 International, because there's so much more work to be done to kind of overcome this ongoing double standard that we see in diabetes care. So thanks a lot. And yeah, I haven't got a glass, but I'll raise it to you, Liz, and the team. So many thanks. And I want to now hand over and introduce you to the T1 International Ambassador, Nicole Smith-Holt. So over to you, Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Thanks so much. As Helen said, my name is Nicole Smith-Holt. I am the T1 International's ambassador. I see many familiar faces, but for those of you who don't know me, I've been fighting for lower insulin prices and better access since 2018, following the loss of my son Alec to insulin rationing. So let's start at the beginning. I met Liz because of an interview I had done in Minnesota about the rising cost of insulin and how it was affecting people. I shared about losing Alec due to rationing because of the high cost of insulin. Somehow Liz, or one of the Insulin for All advocates in the US, saw that interview and reached out to me. I was able to connect first virtually and then in person with Liz. Our first meeting was in 2018 in Indianapolis at Fran Quigley's house prior to the Indianapolis rally, where myself and my husband James traveled to so that we could take part in the event. Meeting Liz and the other advocates that weekend was an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. But Liz was there to lend support, lead us in the rally, and to introduce me to so many new people who we now consider family. That first rally that we participated in jump-started my life as an advocate. I got to see Liz in action, and wow, is she ever a firecracker with a megaphone? Don't let her size fool you. She is such a strong and powerful leader and organizer. Liz is definitely someone I look up to and have learned so much from. Sorry. You would think that it would be difficult to run an organization with hundreds of volunteer advocates from outside of the world, where Liz made it look easy. Late night calls, early morning meetings, and middle of the night messages. She has always done what needs to be done, no matter what time of day or night. I really, truly appreciate her and her support through all of the ups and downs of Alex Law, providing trainings for advocates in the Minnesota Insulin for All chapter, legal assistance, and the connections that were made. I honestly do not believe that we would have passed Alex Law or any of the other insulin safety net or copay laws across the US if it wasn't for Liz and the connections that were made, the community that she has built, and the consistency within she has ran this organization. So this is not goodbye to Liz or to T1 International. This is Liz stepping back and allowing all of us to keep working on priorities of T1 International, allowing us to continue our fight. I have personally so much more to do as the ambassador, and will continue to fight with Families United for access to affordable insulin and our fight for access to affordable insulin for all. So to Liz, I give you this toast. Best of luck. And next, I want to introduce Tahir Amin from I-MAK. Thank you.
I'm not sure if Tahir is on the Zoom just yet, so I may jump in. Is that okay with Lindsay and others running the show? Okay, I'll introduce myself. Hi, I'm Chris Morten. I myself don't live with diabetes, but I'm truly honored to work with and on behalf of those who do. I'm a lawyer in New York City. I teach at Columbia Law School, where I direct the Science, Health, and Information Clinic. My students and I represent pro bono patient groups and others who need legal help but can't afford a high-priced lawyer. I've been T1 International's lawyer since 2021, and I remember my first very excited conversations with Liz about where the organization might need free legal help. As lawyers, we support you. We don't set the organization's priorities. You all do. And one of the things I admire most about T1 International is its commitment to internal democracy, to making advocates and chapters and working groups the engines of the organization. You decide and you know what change you want to see. We as your lawyers help make that happen. The centerpiece of our work with the organization has been public pharma. The United States State Working Group made public pharma a priority. Patients at the front line of broken healthcare systems have seen the inherent limits of relying on greedy for-profit companies to make and distribute insulin. So T1 International made public pharma a focus. And by public pharma, we mean state actors, not-for-profit, democratically accountable government agencies, taking over the roles that private companies play in the pharma ecosystem. That includes manufacturing, distributing, and pricing insulin, as well as other prescription drugs. Public pharma may seem radical and new, but it's neither. There's a long and successful history in the US and around the world. And today, thanks in significant part to T1I, public pharma is in the midst of a major revival. California's CalRx project promises to bring low-cost analog insulins to patients in California in the next year or so, at about 1/10 the price of the big three. In Michigan, there's bipartisan support for a similar law to make and distribute low-cost insulin, and here in New York as well. More and more states are looking at public pharma, and I think especially as our federal Congress in the US seems gridlocked, state government is a place that patients can make real strides. My students and I have supported T1I's advocates getting public pharma laws passed and implemented well in ways that actually serve patients. We've worked with T1I to develop research and advocacy materials, including a public pharma toolkit that I think Lib just dropped in the chat. Thank you. Parts of the policy playbook, op-eds we've published, and more. And this work is really paying off in concrete ways. T1 International has been advising California state officials on how to overcome distribution challenges. We've contributed to Maine's official assessment of public insulin manufacturing. We're looking at other proposed legislation to make sure it serves patients, and more. And the momentum is international. T1I advocates and partners are building public insulin manufacturing and distribution in Pakistan and Brazil, all over the world. Amazing T1I advocates, including Kevin Wren, who's worked in California and Washington, Quinn Nichols in Michigan, and Community Development Director Allison Hardt have been absolutely instrumental to public pharma's momentum in the United States. You all, T1I's advocates, are creative, thoughtful, dedicated, tenacious, and brilliant. You all teach and inspire me. And of course, none of this would be possible without Liz, without the organization that she created and her leadership. So Liz, thank you, and cheers. I'm cheersing with seltzer. I'll close with a call to action. Public pharma is booming, but more momentum means more to do. We need you to fulfill the promise of nonprofit public insulin. We need advocates doing research, advocacy, advising state agencies, doing public education, and more. And T1I needs your donations. This is a scrappy and powerful organization, so every dollar makes a huge impact. We're up against big pharma, and we're going to win. We're going to get low-cost or free insulin to everyone who needs it and build a world where people don't need to rely on these predatory companies for essential medicines. So thank you, and over to you, Allison.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's obviously such a joy to partner with you and the students at SHIC, and appreciate you so much. And thanks for being here. Speaking of partners, we've said it again and again, but our work is strengthened exponentially because of the network, which we've been talking about today, that has been created here by Liz and by all of you, and the way that we can really support and uplift each other in this space. It's just incredible to see everyone, and I want to recognize that we know support comes in many forms. We set an ambitious goal to raise $25,000 together for this toast, and we are so close, which is why, as a pharma-free and grassroots organization, that is amazing. Today we're raising funds to just get us over the finish line, plus a little extra. So we had a goal of $3,000 to raise in this space today, because that is how we can sustain our work. So we know we've had incredible energy showing up this week, especially from our community and already today in this space, and just want to really keep that momentum going. At the same time, I just want to say really clearly that we recognize fully that so many in this room are giving so much of your valuable time as volunteers to keep us moving forward. And we're incredibly grateful for any financial support that comes to reach our goals, but also if it's not within your means, your presence here is always more than enough, and you're here to celebrate, and that is the most important thing. We are so happy to have everybody here with us. So gifts have been coming in already through the program. Thank you so much for your generosity and for your asks about that. Thank you, thank you. So far, we have already raised over $2,000. We're at $2,050 about with conversions because we have gifts coming in both pounds and dollars. So that's amazing. And that means we just have about $1,000 left to raise for the day. And to that end, we are so lucky also to have incredible artists, entrepreneurs, and coaches in our community who have generously donated their products and services to support our event today as a quick thank you for being here with us. So now it's time to move into our first round of giveaways. And how this is going to work is I'm going to read through each giveaway that we have, and then we'll spin our wheel, which we'll be showing in a moment, to pick our winners. You'll need to add a comment to the chat to be entered in the giveaways. So go ahead, and if you'd like to be entered in as I'm reading through these, enter a comment in the chat. And if you are one of the winners, you'll message Bruna Amaral with your full name and email, and then we'll be in touch to get you your prize. So up first, we have a special thanks to Teeny from Hot Diabetic Club, who donated 2 annual memberships to the Hot Diabetic Club, which is a social club built for diabetics by diabetics, and their mission is to facilitate community and meaningful connection for diabetics of all types. All members are given access to bi-weekly virtual meetups, a private community mobile app, in-person events, a Diabestie matchmaker to pair them with a friend in the community, and resources and master classes from industry experts. The current membership is $99 for the year, and all members do have to have diabetes to be enrolled and be 18 years or older. So we're going to go ahead and do our 2 winners. And so here we go. All right. All right. We have our first winner is Mirella. And I think we might need to
I think you should probably spin again.
spin again for this prize. Yeah. Woo. All right, Arena, congratulations. All right, so Arena is our first winner. Go ahead and message Bruna, and we'll make sure we get you all set with your prize. Congrats. And we'll go ahead and do winner 2. Thanks, Lindsay. All right, and we have Pramita as our second winner. Congratulations. Woo. Awesome. Great. So moving on to our second prize for this section, we have a special thanks to Stacy at VialSafe, who donated 5 $30 digital gift cards to the VialSafe online shop. So invented by a diabetic for diabetics, VialSafe offers a secure grip and robust protection against accidental drops and breakage, which saves stress, expense, and insurance nightmares associated with broken insulin vials. VialSafe is reusable, lasts forever, and are great for travel and come in lots of colors and designs. Shipping is limited to the US for items in their online shop. So if you're one of our winners for this VialSafe gift card and you're not based in the US, let us know and we will work with you. So our winners are maybe. Excellent. Keeps tricking me by stopping almost. Okay, so we have, can't read the full name, I'm so sorry, but Lorianne is the first winner. And our second winner. Woo, Quinn. Awesome. So we have Lorianne and Quinn, please message Bruna, direct message Bruna, and we'll get you all set with those VialSafe gift cards. Winner number 3. Rachel. If we only have one Rachel, if you know who you are, message Bruna for us. Awesome. Congratulations. And last we have 5, sorry. All right, Ola. And let's spin for winner number 5. Congratulations. Oh, wow, we've got a group. So you guys have to split that. But go ahead and message. Bruna to grab your prize. And thank you so much. If you aren't a winner yet, don't worry. We are gonna have more giveaways in just a moment. And thank you so much. So now on to Tolu. Take it away for us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tolu, and I just want to start off by saying thank you to Liz and the entire T1 International team for giving me this opportunity just to say a few words on such a very special day, a day filled with so many emotions. As some of you may know that, well, all of us know that the founder, innovator, and dear friend of mine, Liz, or Elizabeth, as some may know her, says farewell to this chapter of her life in front of those who have been able to witness her journey as the director of T1 International at some point between the organization's inception to this present time. T1 International feels like home to me, and it feels so good to see some familiar faces, as well as some new ones working for a cause that impacts millions of people globally, including myself. When I relocated back to the UK from the States during the peak of COVID, I came across the work that the team here were doing, and I instantly knew that I wanted to be a part of the cause. So I joined the team in 2021 as a supporter engagement coordinator. And during my time in that role, I was moved by hearing the stories of so many people around the world who were fighting for not only their human rights to access insulin and the very basics of what they needed to survive, but also on behalf of those who are unable to advocate for themselves. T1 International's team, advocates, chapters, and supporters all work together to make barriers to insulin access a thing of the past. Their impact is so big that there are literally advocates all around the world. Collectively, they have represented the cause at the White House, fought for the ALEC law to be passed in Minnesota in memory of Alec Rashawn Smith, who passed away in 2017 after rationalizing his insulin. On the global stage, T1 International ensured that more insulins were added to the essential medicines list and joined forces with allies to write a letter to the World Health Organization, urging them to reject any sort of funding directly and indirectly from the pharmaceutical companies, pushing the pharmaceutical companies and industry to lower the price and create sustainable solutions. Practice more transparency and accountability to the global community that the entity exists to serve. Wow, I say all this in awe while being reminded that all this work started with Liz, a woman of the hour. She saw a need and rose to the occasion, something that I admire so much about her. Having Elizabeth as a boss meant having a detailed-oriented leader who cares about all the right things, a leader that serves and is hands-on, a leader that is transparent about her highs and lows, which motivates others to engage authentically, a leader that builds a culture of inclusion and diversity, a leader that empathizes with a team member when they need to attend to their own health or that of their loved ones. And most importantly, a leader that is vision-driven and carries her team along with clear directions. I believe that this culture will be carried on into the future of T1 International and its work because of the strong foundation laid. Having Liz as a friend means having a caring person in your life that always checks in even thousands of miles away. It means having an understandable and relatable friend. And even when you've made plans to meet up, but your blood glucose is beating you down and you're no longer well enough to attend your lunch date, she gets it. And she sends you sweet messages just to check in later. It means having a safe space to be vulnerable with each other, whether through several voice notes or long messages on WhatsApp. And of course, sending all the cute pictures of our favorite fur babies. I'm so blessed to have been able to know both Elizabeth and Liz. I know we've talked about what the next chapter in your life holds and all the emotions that come with the decision to move on from this one. Wherever life takes you, I am confident that you will thrive and find yourself in the values of the work. You've accomplished so much, Liz, and because of your bravery, you've encouraged others to do so as well. Having fundraised myself for T1 International and supported many people to do so, I can say that this amazing organization needs financial support more than ever because they are pharma-free and going to be the ones to ensure no one struggles without insulin. I hope you all give what you can in honor of this amazing thing that Liz has built and to support its powerful future. So here's a toast to the journey ahead and many more lives you and T1 Internationals are yet to touch. And now I'll hand it back over to Allison for some more giveaways.
I've been told to jump in because I was a little bit late, and so I apologize. Thank you, Tolu. That was, I don't know, it's a hard act to follow, but just want to say a few words. I believe it was around 2017 when I first met Elizabeth and T1. And I-MAK, the organization that I co-founded and lead, had recently started focusing its work on intellectual property issues, in particular patents that would drive drug prices in the US. And since its founding, I-MAK has always worked with patient focus groups. We started our work in India and we represented people living with HIV, people living with hepatitis. And so meeting a group like T1, who were people living with the conditions that they were fighting for drug access and affordability, meant a lot to us, because at the end of the day, we believe it's the patients' voices that should be leading these conversations and be at the table. And so meeting Elizabeth and other members of T1 was important to us. It grounded us in what the patient needs were. You know, one thing that we learned in the efforts of T1 was that the first thing that struck us was they weren't funded by the pharmaceutical industry. And that is so important, particularly in the United States, because many of the patient-led organizations seem to have some kind of funding from the pharmaceutical industry. And I think they're probably one of the few organizations that don't. And I think that's what allows it to do the kind of advocacy without any kind of strings attached or any kind of direction from behind. They really do bat for what patients really want, and they're able to push the issues in ways that a lot of organizations tend to hold back on. And this is important to our values, and it still is. And it shows that T1 is a fearless advocate when it goes to bat for not only issues relating to type 1 diabetes, but other drugs too. And I think that's where I don't think T1 gets enough recognition for the work that it does. It actually hasn't just stopped its advocacy in relation to diabetes. I think what T1 has become a instrumental part of is the broader conversation around drug prices and patents. I recall being at a listening session at the US Patent and Trademark Office and FDA, and I believe it was Shaina who presented on behalf of T1 that day. We've had convenings where we've had Tracy and others be part of it. And you know, without an organization like T1 in the room, I believe there'd be a huge gap. And what's most amazing is the work over the 7 years that we've known T1 to see the impact they've had on insulin prices. I know there's still a lot of work to do, but I don't think all these various sort of plaudits that the government gets or that certain groups get, I don't think would have happened without T1. And I think that has to be recognized. We certainly look forward to continue working with T1 and to collaborate and keep lifting their voices up, and also keep making sure that they get the attention they deserve. So thank you for this opportunity to share a few words, and wishing you all the best, Elizabeth. It feels like it was just yesterday, since it was 2017 we first met you. And I hope and I'm sure that you're going to go on to do great things.
Thanks so much, Tahir. Appreciate you being here and for those kind words. And the work that we're all doing together is so important. And so now I am going to take us into our last round of giveaways. We've got some more great donations that our dear friends have given their time and energy for. So just a reminder that if you'd like to be entered for those, just add a comment in the chat and that will bring you into our giveaways. So the first one that we have right now is for Harney Teas. Special thanks to Mark and Emmerich at Harney Teas, who donated 4 $50 USD gift cards to Harney Teas. Harney & Sons, if you've been following us for a while, I'm sure you're familiar. They specialize in high quality loose teas and herbal teas, and they've been really fantastic corporate sponsors of T1 International for many years, donating proceeds from their delicious Banting and Best blend to our cause. And I know the apple spice of that is a favorite in our house. So these virtual gift cards are for tea and merchandise that are purchased on their website. Also, if you happen to be in New York, at their Soho stores or Millerton, New York stores in person. And so let's go ahead and do our winners for our Harney Tea gift cards. First up, we have... Oh, see, I got me. Ah, it's Chris. All right, congratulations. Go ahead and reminder, just send a quick message, direct message to Bruna, and we'll get that gift card for you. Let's see, winner number 2, and congratulations to Wes. All right, Eric, we have Eric with Project Insulin, fantastic. You are going to enjoy some lovely teas. All right, winner number 3. We have our group again. Well, that's good. You can split it in a different way. Whoever doesn't get the first one, you can get the second. And who's our number 4? Oh, let's spin again. Try to get these out in the world to different folks. Unless I've just broken the system, in which case we can figure it out. Woo, there we go. Awesome. All right, Allie, you are our 4th and final winner for our Harney Tea gift cards. Make sure to message Bruna, and thanks so much. Cool, cool, cool. All right, and our second giveaway here is Stowell. Thank you so much to Michael from Stowell, who has donated a pair of Stowell's sleep shorts to 2 lucky winners today. And for a diabetic with an insulin pump, there are so many things that can prevent a restful night's sleep, from trying to find a comfortable sleeping position, to getting the tubing tangled up in the sheets, to worrying about missing alerts through the night. And so this collection of sleep shorts is designed to address all of those issues to promote restful sleep. So remember, go ahead and throw your name in the comments if you want to be entered. Our 2 winners. Let's go ahead and roll for Stowell. Amazing, Stephanie, a proud winner of Stowell sleep shorts. Please message Bruna directly and we'll get you all set. Awesome. And winner number 2. Teeny. Fantastic. You shared the love among our different giveaway sponsors. Teeny, congratulations. Go ahead and message Bruna. And I have 2 more. We have 2 more amazing giveaways here. So our third here is from Beth, lovely Beth Edwards. So super special thanks to Beth, who is near and dear to T1I, for donating 2 guides for Beth Edwards Nutrition. Each winner will be able to choose from the following 2. One is a complete guide to boosting insulin sensitivity, which is a resource that dives into all the cornerstones of optimizing insulin sensitivity so that you can enjoy life to the fullest and find balance. And then your complete guide to eating well with T1D, which is a great resource that walks you through some dietary approaches, some tips and tricks that will help, and is based in evidence and inclusive and grounded in real clinical experience. So our 2 winners for our nutrition guides are... Awesome. Arena, big winner today. Awesome. All right. And we'll spin for winner number 2. Apurva, amazing. Congratulations. Go ahead and message Bruna directly and we will get you all squared away. And now it is time for our last giveaway. Huge thanks again to all of our donations for these giveaways. Really special to see the community come together. This is from Janina, aka Miss Diabetes, who donated a physical art print for one lucky winner. So this piece of advocacy art by Miss Diabetes emphasizes the critical message that access to insulin is a human right. With vibrant pink hues and a bold, gripping visual of a hand holding an insulin vial, the artwork highlights the importance of making insulin accessible to all who need it. The design and message serve as a rallying cry for the diabetes community and supporters worldwide to advocate for equitable access to life-saving medication for people with diabetes. The print comes framed. It's on museum quality matte paper. So, awesome. Our winner, and remember, throw your name in the comments. Our winner is oh my gosh, I think we Arina's like the lucky lady today. All right. Do we want to let's do it. Maybe we can spin one more time and then we'll work that out, just so that we can spread the love a little bit. Okay, Chelsea, amazing. So Chelsea is our winner for the physical art print, and make sure to message Bruna directly, and Arina, we can connect as well to figure that out. All right, awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm going to pass it over to Katie and take it away.
Great. Thanks, Allison. So great to be here. I'm feeling pretty emotional. It's so good to see so many advocates, and I've resonated with so much of what's been shared about Liz and T1 International. So my name is Katie Souris, and I've lived with type 1 diabetes for nearly 19 years now. And I've worked in diabetes health programs, in research, and in advocacy. And I'm starting a career now in clinical mental health counseling, really hoping to fill a gap in mental health care for people with diabetes. And I worked for 3.5 years with T1 International as the global advocacy consultant, starting back in 2020. And when I started with T1 International, it was a real homecoming. When I found this organization, I realized it was the organization that I'd been waiting for. Finally, here was a group of people who really got it on multiple levels. Got what it was like to live day in and day out with type 1 diabetes, got how amazing it is to connect with others who are also living with T1D, and got that it's totally 100% absurd and unacceptable that anyone has to fight to access the insulin and the diabetes supplies that they need to survive and live a healthy life with T1D. I think anyone here who's living with type 1 diabetes or supporting someone who is knows that this condition is hard enough on its own. And to me, it's just totally infuriating, and it's haunting that so many people are denied what they need to manage T1D because of pharma and industry greed. And yet, so many other organizations accept pharma funding, even when it limits their advocacy and prohibits them from taking a stand against this blatant industry price gouging. And to me, T1 International's refusal to do so is really possible because of just one thing. And that's the courage of its staff and its volunteer advocates. It's advocates all around the world. And that courage started with Liz, who fearlessly entered this landscape, holding fast to her values, which is just such an amazing and unique and inspiring thing, and emboldening others to join her. And as many have said, Liz has just amazing leadership qualities, and she inspired many other people to join her, and more over the years in this incredible network that T1 International now has. For me personally, working with Liz has been joyful, and it's taught me so much about commitment, and Liz has taught through her thoughtful leadership, I think particularly the way that she leads by example. T1 International has grown from a blog to a thriving international organization, united by that commitment to our global diabetes community. And I know for me that courage is the word that symbolizes T1 International in my mind and in my heart. And that's a value that Liz embodies every day. I know Shaina does too. And it's the reason that I feel so proud to have been part of this team. But that's not the only quality that T1 International embodies in its advocacy. So one of the things I wanted to do with everyone in the room is an activity that can display the words that represent T1 International to each of us in our minds and hearts. So what I'll ask you to do, we're going to use a tool called Stream Alive, is in the chat, you can now just put one word or just a couple of words to illustrate what word comes to your mind and heart when you think of T1 International. So this will just help us see all the ways that T1I shines. So we've got hope, mighty, love, tenacious, powerful, unwavering, life-saving, community. Wow, persistence, community's getting big. That one really resonates for people. Ethical, relentless, transparency, brave, love. Love is really taken center stage here. Unwavering, solidarity, integrity, advocacy, hope, togetherness, razor sharp, experts, resourceful. These are such good words. And I think it's, all of these words and more: helping hand, transparent, fearless, and we can keep putting them into the chat. Scrappy, practical. I love this. So many practical, detailed campaigns. Empathy, open-hearted. So thank you all so much. You can keep putting words into the chat. Again, it's been wonderful to share with you all here today, and I'm going to pass it over now to Matt for some fundraising.
Hi, folks. My name is Matt Dinger. I'm on the board of trustees for T1 International. I was diagnosed with diabetes in 1989. Things were very different back then. I was the only person I knew with diabetes for many years. And honestly, it was pretty lonely. It was scary. I did not have a community like this at the time that I needed it most. And now that I have that community, I will do whatever it takes to protect it. That is the main reason I'm a part of this movement and a part of this organization, to use the means that I have to help people with diabetes all over the world. And take a minute to look at us right now, standing together as people across the globe, united in a single purpose in a world that constantly tries to tear us apart. This is the legacy that we're fighting for, and it is incredible. It's the power that we have. And as you've heard from all of these powerful stories today, T1 International is doing critical work to move our goal of insulin for all forward. Today has been a beautiful tribute to the work that T1 International has done under Liz's leadership. But there is so much more work to do. Right now, we're working with hundreds of people across the globe in campaigns to make insulin affordable and accessible. Yet despite all our accomplishments, the challenge remains. Corporations who refuse to do the right thing, and instead of lowering prices, they pay to keep patients out of decision-making and pay lobbyists to stunt meaningful policy response. We have to ensure that we have the resources to be here for the long haul, to train volunteers, to hold networking events, to testify on legislation, and most importantly, to continue to share our personal stories, not only with each other, but with the rest of the world. Because we don't take money from pharma, we need to raise that in other places. And we need to be here in order to achieve insulin for all, everyone, every person across the globe. And we need you to support this work. Our goal is to raise $25,000 today. Maybe we'll go well beyond that. But this is it. This is the direct ask. People have been talking about this all day. But if you could click on the link in the chat, pull up the donation form with me now. Today in this session alone, we have raised $2,550. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who has given their time, dedication, and funds. And we need to keep going. So, is there someone out there in the audience who can give $1,000 today? And I have our staff backing me up and letting me know any of the donations that are coming in. Is there anyone who can give $500 today? All right. Excellent. We've had a $500 donation given. Thank you so much. Is there anyone out there who can give $250? Yes, you absolutely can pledge as well. I see Sana asking in the chat. I see we had a $500 donation given today. I have already given, and I will match that. And so I'll give another $500 to the organization. Get things going a little bit. Anyone else? So, enough of the larger numbers. Anything that you all can give, please feel free to put that in the chat. Shalisa, I see, is going to ask her husband's employer if they'll match the donation. Incredible. Any other folks want to donate via the form or pledge via the chat right now? Stephanie, my good friend from Utah, 9-year-old gave $15 today. Incredible. Mirella gave $75. Thank you so much. Janine gave half an hour ago. $100 pledge from Sana. Thank you all so much. Oh, the pledges are really coming in right now. David Frazier giving from the UK, $100. Fiona set up a monthly donation. That's an excellent opportunity to look and kind of budget across funds and make sure that you're setting T1 International up for long-term success. And continuing that, a shout out to Darwin specifically. I have met Darwin. Definitely we are in good hands with the future leadership of patients living with type 1 diabetes. Hannah and Jack, thank you so much in honor of Darwin. They are giving another $100. Just amazing. Folks, based on these new donations, Allison, other folks, do we have a new total that we can announce? I know y'all are hard at work
on the spot math here, but yes, so we will, that puts us at, with your pledge and with the other goals, then we're at 3,150, I believe, if I'm doing this correctly, which means we have gotten to our goal for today, and appreciate that also means that we have surpassed that $25,000 goal that we had for the event. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get teary, but Matt, amazing. Thank you all for your support, and yeah, keep it coming. Thank you.
Yeah. The tiers are wonderful. For any of you who are joining us after the event and watching the recording, you too can absolutely join in on the fun at t1international.com/donate. And looking into the future, I can already tell we need the donations, even if you're watching this after the event. Thank you so much. You know, personally, as a patient, this absolutely means the world to me, knowing that this organization can continue to do so much of the great work that we've done under this new leadership, and in honor of Liz and the work that she has done across the board. So keep it coming. With that, though, I am going to hand the mic over to Sana Ajmal, the Executive Director of Meethi Zindaji. Thank you, Sana. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Sana. Thank you so much. I've been listening to all the speakers, and it's really, really, really inspiring. And really glad to see so many familiar faces and so many new faces here as well. I think I would just want to begin with offering my enthusiastic support for T1 International. Our work began with T1 International when they were probably just setting up the whole concept, the ideology, and everything. And together, our fight on insulin access and affordability and the Fight for 5 campaign in Pakistan, our work has been very, very, very critical. I'll just share a very short bit about what's happening in Pakistan right now. In the last 1.5 years, right now we are in the 4th shortage cycle of insulin. And I've been talking about this at multiple forums, that as pharma companies move from insulin towards obesity-reducing drugs, for example, shortages come into play. And when shortages come into play, most of the time, maybe the high-income countries are getting the demand, the supply they want, but the shortages impact the low-income countries like ours very adversely. So in the beginning, this was not the case, and we were working more on the insulin affordability issue. But then we started working more and more towards how to ensure that insulin is at least available in the country. And within this work, T1 International's role has been very, critical. As a small, nimble grassroots organization, T1 International has consistently demonstrated its ability to support us, to cultivate leadership, to execute time-bound action plans, and to achieve scalable impact. So over the past 6 years, our collaboration with T1 International has shown their unwavering commitment to equity and prioritizing the local issues, not just talking about the affordability, which was probably becoming something not very, it is still a huge issue in Pakistan, but we had other priorities as well. And they showed their commitment. They helped us understand the issues. They helped us strategize and to how to advocate for them. So they've always championed accessibility and intercultural exchange. They ensure that advocates from diverse backgrounds and abilities can contribute their knowledge and skills to improve the local circumstances and amplify their impact on a global scale. This year, on March 16th, Liz and her team at T1 International supported Meethi Zindagi in planning and executing a roundtable conference between stakeholders to tackle the insulin shortages. Their input about the way to communicate the messages was instrumental in bringing key people to the table. And the impact this advocacy brought about is that last month, Pakistan, one of the private companies, local companies in Pakistan, has set up the first production plant in country, which is an amazing step forward for us. We would really want to see public pharma coming in, but it's a great first step and a ray of hope for the country. So Liz also spoke as a keynote at the event and cultivated the rich exchange between the policymakers, which was amazing. And we have been very clear with so there was this analogy that was shared by T1 International, and it keeps coming to my mind, that there's a monster that's throwing babies down the river. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna save the babies or handle the monster? And with us in Pakistan, the problem was so huge that we had to save the babies. We couldn't just let them die, and we had to tackle the monster as well. So what we started doing was to with Liz, and the monster for us was not just the pharma industry. Mainly, it was the government's complete lack of support. So we had been very clear with T1 International that we do accept some pharma funding to save the babies that are being thrown down the river due to the high insulin prices or the lack of availability. And they were very understanding. They were always very understanding. They still supported us to work on handling the monster, which in our case was the government's inability to support vulnerable people. And their clarity about wanting to tackle the monster alone has helped me on a very personal level reflect on how to save the babies while tackling the monster. And many in T1 International's community are directly affected by the insulin price crisis. I would say T1 International's bold commitment to refusing money from pharmaceutical industry distinguishes them as one of the few truly independent health advocacy organizations fighting for long-term change, led by people with lived experience of diabetes. I would say that I've been in the advocacy space for around a decade, and after years of advocacy, I'm actually beginning to see for the last 2-3 years that international organizations, and many of them are on a global stage, highlighting the issues about pharma funding and trying to move away from that. So congratulations to Liz on achieving this huge milestone, I would say. I was asked to introduce the future executive director of T1 International, Shaina. Liz's shoes are huge to fill, and you are the perfect person to fill them. So congratulations. I'm very excited to see her lead T1 International. I have been inspired by her commitment to the cause, her in-depth planning and facilitation skills. Shaina has always been very open to suggestions and ideas, which are great traits for a leader to follow in the footsteps of Liz, whose clarity and courage has helped inspire the no pharma funding movement within the diabetes spheres. Those are, I would say again, I would reiterate, those are big shoes to fill, but not as big when you see Shaina rise up to the position. So I would now hand over to Shaina to take it over.
So much,
Yeah.
Sana.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You guys, thank you so much. Yeah, I've just like had like tears and goosebumps like this entire time. Just the work that T1 International has done has just been so amazing. Yeah, and it happened because Liz had this vision, and not just had this vision, she like built this organization and created it and led it and made it this global force. So Liz, you created something that has shifted the world, and I'm just so humbled and honored and floored to be following in those footsteps. Okay, so formal introduction. Hi, everyone. It's so wonderful to see so many familiar faces here and so many new ones as well. So for those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Shaina Kasper. Stepping to the role of Executive Director at T1 International is just such a profound honor. I spent the last 3 years working in policy and advocacy, and I know we're just getting started here. So yeah, to start things off, I'll just say, I didn't pick working on the insulin access issue. It picked me. My little sister and I both have type 1 diabetes, and I remember her coming home from diabetes camp with backpacks emblazoned with Eli Lilly and gear donated by Sanofi. These companies were just everywhere in the diabetes space. And I was, already an advocate. I was fighting for housing justice and environmental justice when I got diagnosed with diabetes myself. I fought corporate power, and yet here I was dependent on these greedy corporate monopolies to survive. I couldn't escape it. I couldn't hold these like two parts of my identity together. And as so many others have said earlier, it was really isolating. And then everything changed when I just happened to stumble upon this podcast where Liz was talking about T1 International's protests at Eli Lilly and the organization's global work fighting big pharma. And it was just like this door opened. I realized that there was this community of people who were just like me, people who were living with diabetes and fighting back against corporate greed, people who were standing up for human rights. who weren't afraid to actually take on big pharma. I like ordered shirts for my whole family. I donated. I was like, this is the group for me. I applied for a job, and you know what? I didn't get it. And it took me a little while to find my place at T1 International. But I found my way and my organizing home at this organization, because this work is just so important. Big pharma corporations have blood on their hands. Our movement is smaller than it should be because we've lost so many in our community due to this corporate greed and corporate profiteering and government inaction. We deserve to live in a world where affordable and accessible insulin and testing supplies and healthcare is available to all. And that's why we're here. You know, we're here because 12 years ago, Liz started a blog, and from that spark, that vision, she's ignited and built this global movement. And we're not just speaking truth to power, you know, we are like taking on the most powerful corporations in the world, and we're winning. Like, we've created the world where people with diabetes are not held hostage by corporate greed. We're telling public pharma, we don't need you because we're going to start our own thing. We're going to start public pharma. So I owe Liz a deep debt to creating this space. And the way that I want to repay that debt is by paying it forward. We're a community that doesn't just share stories or offer comfort, but we're a community that acts. We organize, we mobilize, we fight, and every victory makes us stronger. And Liz taught me that. The world that we're fighting for is this world where no one has to choose between food and rent and access to medicines. It's a world where everyone with diabetes can survive and thrive, and we're going to get there together. And I think others have said this before too. I wish we could thank everyone who has helped me and us get here today. Hopefully I'll be able to thank many of you one-on-one as we move forward and after this call. But for now, just like a blanket deep appreciation here. This T1 International community has just mentored and supported and led me. And I'm going to continue to learn from our community and from our partners and our allies. You know, we're all going to just keep working and learning together. That's how we do this thing. That's how we win. So expect to hear from me, to hear from our team. What should we be focusing on? How should we be approaching this campaign? How can we create a more supportive and inclusive community? By expanding and growing our global community, by leaning on this expertise that we all bring, that's how we win. So we're gonna keep calling on Eli Lilly and Sanofi and Novo Nordisk. We're gonna keep holding them accountable, and we're gonna continue to fight for insulin for all. As Isaac Newton said, I have seen further by standing on the shoulders of giants. And Liz, I don't know if I can see further, but I do know I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. This movement was built on the strength of you and everyone else here. So thank you so much for thank you much for everyone being part of this fight today and every day. And thank you so much to Liz.
Thank you, Shaina. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Shaina Kasper has been described as having the dedication of a monk and the stamina of a wildebeest. Okay, she's been described that way by me, and I can't really let it go. But I have to say it continues to ring true, and it has stuck with me. Since the moment Shaina joined our team, she was a ball of energy, as you can see, and passion to get things done. She's brought her decade of experience fighting for climate justice to our movement and helped us hone in on what is most important so that we can win real lasting change for insulin for all. Her bright, full energy has helped us change policies and build a stronger community. So I've been working directly with Shaina, really directly, for over a year now, and it's been complex, challenging, and wonderful, just like the work that we do every day at T1 International. And we've supported each other and worked collectively with our team to grow and get stronger so that we can keep being there for our community. When I set my mind to have an end date for my time as an executive director 3 years ago, it was hard to imagine how everything would come together to make that possible. But it's been 3 years and more of hard work to set up the team and organization for success. And it's truly been a joy to see this team step up as I take steps back. We have a fantastic board of trustees, an incredible staff team, and of course, a diabetes community who's never going to give up on this fight. So you can bet that T1 International won't give up either. Shaina brought her experience with transitions and dove right into building a transition plan for my departure. I remember early on, she said, I just want to figure out the best way I can support you to not have to think about this 24/7 every day and for the organization to be in a good place. And she did that and so much more. A few months later, it was decided that the best way for her to do that might be as executive director of T1 International. And after a long, extensive external recruitment process, we knew that she was the right person for the job. So with all of that, let me leave you with a little story. Shaina and I were lucky to get to meet in person when I was in the USA visiting family earlier this year. We did some handover work and got to spend one evening sitting on the porch and reflecting on what brought us to where we are. My family's really into hummingbirds, and they are, in our opinion, the coolest of birds. I'd been hoping for a hummingbird sighting at my parents' house, and on that night with Shaina, it happened. I'll tell you, that hummingbird hummed its way up to the feeder right in front of our porch swing and took a good long look at me and Shaina, as if it was looking into us. I like to think I saw him nod in approval of Shaina's leadership and this organization and all that we've built together. For some, the hummingbird is associated with sun and its life-giving energy. Shaina is our sun, giving our team and volunteer stars their energy. To others, seeing a hummingbird signals that challenging times are over and healing can begin. I think our hummingbird was telling us that T1 International will succeed moving forward, and that it will continue to play a part in healing our community and creating a better world. To others, the tiny flyers are an inspiring sign of hope and good luck. As cheesy as it may sound, I do believe that the hummingbird sighting signaled all of those things. And I'm so excited to have Shaina at the helm with Allison, Bruna, Kate, Lib, and Lindsay, and our whole community. You can bet that T1 International will keep standing up for what's right, and I will be cheering all of you on every step of the way. So before we wrap up for today, let's do what we do best at T1 International and take some action together. Over to you, Janice. Thanks. Janice, you're still on mute. There you go. Now you're unmuted.
Thank you so much, Liz, for being an amazing mentor to all of us. And a huge thank you for leaving us with an incredible legacy. My name is Janice Barnes, and I'm a global advocate with Type 1 International. I live in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'm a member of the Speakers Bureau. At Type 1 International, I finally found people who are like me, who understand me, and who speak my Type 1 language. I love working with you all. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited about Shaina taking over as the executive director. I can see the organization soaring with Shaina at the helm. Currently in South Africa, insulin pens have become nearly impossible to find. The government ensured that everyone who needed it had access to insulin pens for the past decade, and yet now they've all but disappeared from pharmacy shelves. We've had to return to vials and syringes, and for many people, this is a huge battle. Managing our blood glucose levels is a challenge in the first place, and trying to use vials and syringes makes it even more difficult. This has left many of us living with diabetes struggling to manage our blood glucose levels. And it's not just for us in South Africa. All across the globe, insulin manufacturers are putting profits over patients' lives and are making insulin unaffordable and inaccessible. We need to make insulin affordable and accessible to all. That's why we're going to be circulating a petition to the big three insulin manufacturers to call on them to make insulin available for $5 a box of 5 pens for government contracts for all low and middle income countries. Then, on World Diabetes Day, I will deliver the petition to Novo Nordisk in Johannesburg with other advocates and with our friends at MSF, Doctors Without Borders. So now, we need you to sign and share the petition. Click on the link in the chat, sign it yourself, and please make sure to have everyone else sign it as well. Post it on social media, anywhere and everywhere else. Now I'll hand over to Allison to wrap things up for us. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Janice. And thank you to everybody as we wrap up today. Thank you for to our sponsors who made this event possible, for our advocates who make every day possible, and everyone here today. Just really appreciate all of you. And I just want to give a special shout out to Lindsay, who's been doing all of the back end tech on this event, and to all the members of our team who make this who made this day possible. As I shared, I am thrilled to say that we have not only met, but continue to surpass our goal. We have raised, as of the last check just a minute ago, over $3,430 today together, which pushes us to our goal. So thank you so much. It's huge, and never stops meaning the world to keep this work going in this pharma-free advocacy that we all do. So now and always, we just truly appreciate you all. If you didn't get a chance to give yet and would like to, please, as Matt mentioned earlier, it always makes a difference. We are always so grateful for your support. So please feel free to keep giving today and onward. Every dollar raised beyond this goal still is supporting our bright and hopeful future with T1 International and more accessible and affordable insulin and diabetes supplies for people all around the world. So now it's time to close our program, but not before we have a dance party. The T1 International staff team has the tradition of Zoom dance parties to loosen up, move around, and celebrate our recent wins and achievements. So you can dance standing up, you can dance from your chair, or any way that works for you. We'd love to have you join us just for the next couple of minutes as we close out. In the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen, you will see an area that says View, and just recommend marking that as Gallery View so you can have the best experience during this little dance moment. Please feel free to stay on video if you're comfortable showing everyone your moves. We're gonna vibe with some music and that Advocate Bertrand has made, and enjoy each other's company as we just continue the celebration of T1I and this community of advocates and supporters. So Bertrand, take it away.
Thank you, Allison. Yes, my name is Bertrand Burgala. I represent Diabète et Méchant, which is a French correspondent to T1I, and I've been DT1 since 1975, and I've known all the evolutions of diabetes, and especially the rise of its cost, but I never found anything about that matter here because it did not interest anyone in France, as state pays the treatments, which doesn't mean they're free, but that their cost is, it doesn't mean they're free, but that their cost is hidden. And in 2010, I published an opinion column in a French daily newspaper, Libération, and I wrote a book on the subject, which was released in 2015, just at the same moment that Liz created T1I. And that book was later adapted into documentary. And I just sent the link in the chat because you can see Liz in action and DTI in action, though it's in French. But after the book, I realized that I was not alone. Many readers contacted me and we founded together Diabète et Méchant, but we realized also that we were not alone outside. And the first structure I saw, which was not a coverage for the industry, was the Sonia Nabeta Foundation. And then we saw T1I and Liz, and we were really amazed, and it really helped us a lot. And to this togetherness with Type 1 International. And we've done several demonstrations here in coordination with Type 1, including several ones in front of Sanofi headquarters. We published articles in the press, and we carry on doing that, on TV, on radio, everywhere we can. And we're very close to Open Insulin, Santé Diabète in Mali, SOS Diabète in Mauritania. And I want really to say how much we have great admiration for Liz, because she has managed to bring these issues forward with great composure, with great accuracy and determination. And so, yes, I made a little playlist with tracks I've done and that I've recorded, and also some that I find inspiring, of some with people I've worked with, like Robert Wyatt. And I hope it will bring good vibes and fighting spirit, and of course he's dedicated to Liz and with a lot of gratitude. And I'm very shy, so I won't, you know, I don't dare to dance really. But thanks to all of you, and thanks to Liz and Shaina and all the team, really.
Thank you, Bertrand. Thank you so much. It means so much to hear from so many of you, and so many wonderful messages in the chat as well. Let's dance. Thank you for this beautiful playlist.
Congrats, Liz.
There we go. Well, I have the Zoom background on, so I don't know if you can. Go Katie, go Katie, go Fiona, go Jovi. Go Beth, go Beth. Chelsea and Leon. Katie, Kelly, Nana Ama. Yes. Go Lib, go Lib. And Jack, yeah. Go Tolu, your fur baby. Oh, baby, Frankie. Go Matt, go Matt. Go Tracy. Yeah, Shaina. Yeah, Bruna. Issa and Virgie. Yeah. Mike and Kathy, there you go. Go Diego. Go Stephanie, go Stephanie. There's John and Joey. Joey getting her medicine.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, yes. I just saw that Bertrand was playing along. That's awesome. Thank you all. It's been an incredible day, evening, afternoon, morning. Thank you so much. We'll keep at it from here, and can't thank you all enough for a beautiful, beautiful day and event. Thanks, team.
Thank you, everyone. Great to see you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Liz.
Congratulations, Liz.
Congratulations.
Shaina. So much love.
Congratulations, Fiona.